The grand chamber of Horizon 1 glimmered under soft, shifting lights. A crystal dome stretched above the council floor, showing the vast expanse of stars beyond. Representatives from hundreds of worlds had gathered, their forms and appearances as diverse as the stars themselves. Some floated silently, their translucent bodies pulsing with internal light. Others had multiple limbs, while a few resembled shapes that seemed impossible to name. Yet, despite their differences, all were united under a single purpose today: the Council's vote on matters affecting Earth. Dr. Elena Cortez adjusted her uniform nervously. She had spent her entire career preparing for this moment, yet nothing could have prepared her for the news that had reached her earlier. Humans, once viewed as a curious but harmless species, were now under scrutiny. A faction of the Council had suggested strict sanctions against humanity, claiming that humans were unpredictable, potentially dangerous, and unsuitable for interstellar cooperation. Elena could not believe it. Humanity had been cautious, respectful, and eager to learn. Their explorers had traveled light years, often offering aid to other worlds. The very idea that humans might be considered a threat felt absurd. Dr. Cortez, a voice echoed in her earpiece. It was Ambassador Real, her liaison from the Council itself. They've made it clear. Today's session will decide Earth's fate. You must speak carefully. I understand, she whispered back. Her heart raced. Carefully but clearly. Humanity cannot be misjudged. The chamber's doors opened with a hum. Elena stepped forward, taking in the sight before her. The council members were already seated, their chairs floating slightly above the floor. At the center, a triangular dais held the leaders of each major faction. Their eyes, or the equivalents of eyes, turned toward her as she approached. Dr. Cortez, began the council chair, a being whose skin shimmered like liquid silver. We are aware of your arrival. The floor is yours for opening statements. Elena drew a steadying breath. She straightened her posture, thinking of the billions of humans watching from Earth through live transmission. The world depended on her, and she would not fail them. Esteemed members of the council, she began, her voice steady but passionate. I stand before you not only as a representative of Earth, but as a witness to the true nature of humanity. We are explorers, inventors, and learners. We have made mistakes, yes, but who has not? Humanity seeks understanding and cooperation, not conflict or destruction. A murmur ran through the council chamber. Some members nodded, while others, particularly the faction pushing sanctions, remained cold and unmoving. Elena knew she had to be precise. The recent incident at the colony of Zorath Prime has been misrepresented, she continued. Human actions were entirely defensive, conducted in a manner that ensured no casualties or harm. Yet this event has been twisted to suggest that we are aggressive and uncontrollable. This is false. From her vantage point, Elena noticed a few council members exchanging glances. Some of the smaller species seemed genuinely confused. One of the amphibious delegates raised a tentacle in question, prompting the chair to nod in acknowledgement. You have 20 minutes, Dr. Cortez, the chair intoned. Present your evidence. Elena activated her holographic display. Images and data streams filled the chamber. Satellite recordings, communications logs, and mission reports. Each piece highlighted human ingenuity and restraint. The council members leaned in, their eyes, or their versions of eyes, tracking the holograms. She spoke of humans' advances in planetary restoration, showing how barren worlds were transformed into lush, thriving ecosystems. She highlighted innovations in energy generation, medical care, and interstellar navigation, but most importantly, she emphasized humanity's moral reasoning. Every action humans took was calculated to minimize harm and maximize understanding. As the presentation ended, the chamber fell into silence. Even some members of the faction pushing sanctions appeared thoughtful, if still skeptical. Elena felt a flicker of hope. Perhaps reason could prevail. But then the chair's voice cut through the silence. Dr. Cortez, your evidence is impressive. Yet we must consider the council's position. Some members believe that even a species capable of such achievements may still pose a risk. Humanity's rapid expansion, its unpredictable decision-making, and its emotional tendencies make it a concern. Elena felt a surge of frustration but kept her composure. With all due respect, she replied, those very traits you call unpredictable are what make humans adaptable, creative, and resilient. We do not act blindly. We analyze, we discuss, and we strive to make ethical choices even under pressure. To label us dangerous without full understanding is not only unfair, it is short-sighted. A ripple of whispers moved across the council chamber. Elena noticed some smaller delegates nodding subtly. Humanity's voice, she realized, was beginning to resonate. Then came the shocking statement that made her blood run cold. One of the council's senior members, a towering being with crystalline limbs, spoke in a cold, resonant tone. "Dr. Cortez, your words are noted. But evidence alone cannot erase instinctive caution. The council must consider the possibility that humans, though seemingly intelligent, may one day act against interstellar stability. Therefore, a vote on sanctions is necessary. Humanity may be restricted in its expansion, and several of your colonies may be placed under observation." Elena felt the weight of the chamber press down on her. Restricting humanity's expansion, monitoring colonies. These were precursors to isolation and mistrust. The implications were enormous. She forced herself to remain calm. "I ask the council to consider this," she said. "If humans are truly given the chance to show their abilities and moral reasoning, I am confident you will see we are worthy of trust. Restricting us without full understanding is a mistake. It is a mistake that may cost the council more than it imagines." For a moment, the chamber was still. Then the crystalline delegate leaned forward. "Dr. Cortez, your passion is noted. But caution must guide our decisions. We shall proceed with deliberation." Elena's heart sank. The deliberation could take hours or days. Every minute was critical. She left the chamber and returned to her team in the observation gallery. "Did it work?" asked Commander Rai, the human pilot who had accompanied her. His eyes, full of curiosity and worry, searched hers. "I don't know yet," Elena admitted, "but we have planted a seed. The council has seen our evidence, our achievements, our intentions. Now it's up to them to act wisely." Rai frowned. "And if they don't?" Elena's gaze drifted toward the stars outside the observation deck. The same stars humans had reached through determination and ingenuity. "Then we show them more," she said quietly. "We demonstrate that humanity is more than what they fear. We show them what we can truly do." Back in the chamber, the council members began their quiet discussions. Voices hummed, ideas clashed, and alliances formed. Some members clearly doubted the reports against humanity, while others seemed swayed by fear. Elena knew that the coming days would require every ounce of patience, intelligence, and diplomacy she and her team could muster. Hours passed. Elena wandered the observation deck, looking at the twinkling stars. Her thoughts wandered to Earth, to the people relying on her, to the dreams of exploration and cooperation humanity had fought so hard to achieve. She knew the council's skepticism was not an attack. It was a challenge. A soft chime indicated a secure message. Elena opened it. The message contained raw intelligence from a distant colony, hinting that the initial incident had been manipulated by unknown parties. Someone wanted humans to appear as a threat. Her heart quickened. This was the first tangible lead. Perhaps the council's misjudgment could be corrected, not just through words, but through evidence of the truth. Elena turned to her team. "We have work to do," she said. "This is no longer just about defending humanity's reputation. We must uncover the facts, reveal the truth, and prove that humans belong in the stars, not as threats, but as partners." The team nodded, determination burning in their eyes. Each knew the road ahead would be challenging, full of political intrigue, unexpected discoveries, and tense negotiations. But they also knew one thing. Humanity had survived far worse on Earth, and now they would survive this through intelligence, courage, and the indomitable spirit that had always defined their species. As the stars outside shimmered in silent witness, Elena felt a surge of hope. The council might have doubted humanity, but humanity had something far more powerful than fear or prejudice. A mind eager to learn, a heart willing to collaborate, and a spirit ready to shine in the galaxy. The corridors of Horizon 1 were quiet now, filled only with the soft hum of energy panels and distant chatter of alien staff preparing for the council's deliberations. Dr. Elena Cortez walked briskly, accompanied by her human team. Commander Rai, the pilot, was at her side, and a small group of engineers, scientists, and diplomats followed closely. Each carried equipment, tablets, and data crystals containing humanity's achievements. Proof that Earth was not a threat but a species of creativity. Resilience and intelligence, Elena, Rye said quietly. Do you really think they'll listen? After what happened in the council chamber? Elena's gaze was steady, focused on the endless stars outside the station's windows. They have to. Facts speak louder than fear, and humans are full of facts worth hearing. Her team had spent countless hours preparing a presentation unlike anything the council had seen. They were not just going to defend humanity. They would show humanity's potential, demonstrating that humans were capable of ingenuity, cooperation, and problem-solving at the highest levels. Their first step was a demonstration in the Innovation Hall, a massive chamber capable of projecting holograms and environmental simulations. The walls shimmered as holographic panels lit up, showing the vast achievements of humanity. The council members had agreed to witness this display, skeptical but willing to observe. Elena took a deep breath. This is not just a presentation, she told her team. This is humanity speaking with its own voice. Show them who we really are. The chamber filled with delegates as Elena began. Esteemed council members, she said, her voice clear and firm. You have seen our species from a distance. You have been told we are dangerous. Today, you will see that we are intelligent, compassionate, and eager to cooperate. The holograms shifted, displaying scenes of Earth's environmental recovery programs. Barren deserts bloomed into forests. Polluted rivers flowed clear again, and cities once filled with smog now glimmered with clean energy and innovation. Delegates leaned forward, their attention caught by the vivid imagery. This is not magic, Elena explained. It is technology guided by creativity, careful planning, and moral responsibility. Humans are capable of transforming worlds, not to dominate them, but to nurture them. A young alien delegate whose skin shimmered with shifting patterns whispered to a neighbor. Elena noticed the gesture. Even the smallest species seemed impressed. Next, the team demonstrated humanity's achievements in energy efficiency and sustainability. Holograms showed massive solar arrays floating above planets, artificial gravity systems powering habitats, and medical facilities that could heal a planet as well as its people. Commander Rye stepped forward to demonstrate the Interstellar Communication Network, a system that allowed humans to share data across light years almost instantaneously. This network has helped coordinate rescue missions, environmental repairs, and scientific research across multiple star systems, Rye said. Humans do not act recklessly. We act carefully, using knowledge and collaboration to achieve results. The council members were silent for a moment, absorbing the magnitude of the demonstration. Elena knew that the skeptical faction would not easily change their minds, but seeds of doubt had been planted. Humans were showing their intelligence in ways that could not be ignored. Yet Elena sensed something more was needed. Facts are essential, she said, but so is understanding our values. Humans are not only intelligent, they are empathetic. Our decisions are guided by compassion and cooperation. Let me show you what I mean. A hologram of a remote colony appeared, a planet once devastated by environmental collapse. Through human intervention, its ecosystem had been restored, and the local inhabitants and alien species had been helped to rebuild their communities. The council members watched in awe as the holograms showed the transformation. Clean water flowing through settlements, food sources replenished, and homes rebuilt. This is humanity at work, Elena said. We do not act for conquest or control. We act to improve lives, to learn from each other, and to foster peace. One of the council members, a towering being with crystalline limbs, raised a hand. Dr. Cortez, it said, voice echoing in the chamber. Your displays are impressive, but some members argue that humans' emotional nature makes them unpredictable. Logic alone cannot guarantee safety, Elena smiled faintly. That is precisely why humans are valuable. Our emotions drive us to care, to innovate, and to persist even under difficulty. Our morality guides our actions, ensuring that intelligence is paired with responsibility. We learn from our mistakes, but we also adapt, grow, and excel. As the demonstration continued, other humans stepped forward, showcasing inventions in medicine, space travel, and ecological engineering. Each invention was not merely technical, but also guided by ethical considerations. The council members began to murmur among themselves, clearly impressed by the depth and breadth of human achievements. But just as hope began to rise, Elena noticed subtle glances exchanged among the faction-pushing sanctions. Their eyes were cold, determined, and unmoved by mere facts. Elena understood that a presentation alone would not be enough. They would need evidence of integrity and problem-solving in real time. A sudden alert on her tablet caught her attention. "Elena," whispered Dr. Tanaka, the human scientist on the team. "We have incoming data from Zorath Prime. There are anomalies that confirm humans were not at fault for the incident cited earlier." Elena's heart quickened. "Perfect. Let's bring that to the council immediately." They projected the data in the chamber. The evidence clearly showed that the incident had been caused by miscommunication among the colony staff, amplified by faulty sensors and misreported logs. Humans had responded with caution, ensuring no harm came to the alien inhabitants. Gasps echoed through the chamber. Some delegates leaned forward, their expressions unreadable. Others nodded, clearly recognizing the truth. Elena felt a flicker of triumph. For the first time, the council could see humanity as it truly was. Yet even with the proof, one voice challenged her. "Even if humans were innocent in this case," said the crystalline delegate, "can we trust them in the future? Their species expands quickly, learns fast, and changes rapidly. Such potential for influence may be dangerous." Elena stepped forward, her eyes bright with determination. "Do you wish to punish a species for its potential? We are not defined by fear or suspicion. We are defined by our actions, our achievements, and our willingness to cooperate. Humans are not a threat, we are a partner. If given the chance, we can contribute more to this council than any species you have ever known." The chamber was silent. Elena could feel the tension, the weight of expectation, and the hope that hung like a fragile crystal in the air. Some delegates whispered to each other, debating quietly, while others simply observed. Finally, a small alien delegate, shaped like a floating orb, spoke. "I have observed humans closely. Your reasoning, your care for life, your ability to solve problems, these are remarkable. Perhaps we have judged too quickly." Elena felt a surge of hope. One voice could influence others, especially in a council where morality and logic were valued. She knew the road ahead would still be difficult, but humanity had made its voice heard. As the council adjourned for private discussions, Elena and her team gathered in a quiet chamber. "We've done well," she said, smiling at the team. "But this is only the beginning. The faction pushing sanctions is still out there. They will not give up easily." Rai frowned. "Do you really think they'll change their minds?" Elena looked at the stars outside. "I don't just think it, I know it. Humans have faced worse on Earth. We have survived plagues, wars, and disasters through intelligence, cooperation, and resilience. This council is no different. We just have to show them the truth." As the team prepared for the next phase, gathering further evidence, strengthening alliances, and presenting humanity's moral character, Elena felt a surge of pride. Humanity's voice was strong, clear, and impossible to ignore. They were not just a species struggling to survive. They were a species capable of inspiring others, solving impossible problems, and shining in the galaxy. The stars outside twinkled like distant beacons, each one a reminder of the vast possibilities ahead. Humanity had taken the first step in proving its worth, not through force but through intelligence, creativity, and the courage to speak boldly. The corridors of Horizon 1 hummed with quiet activity. Council members moved in their usual patterns. Delegates conversed in strange tongues, and the station's artificial gravity hummed beneath the polished floors. But beneath the calm surface, Dr. Elena Cortez sensed tension. Something was wrong. It had been hours since the council's initial deliberations, and though the presentations had impressed many, the faction advocating sanctions against humanity had remained strangely steadfast. Elena had expected resistance, but their unyielding stance felt unnatural. Their arguments were no longer about evidence or morality. They seemed almost rehearsed, too rigid, too perfect. Elena gathered her team in the observation lounge, a place that overlooked the swirling stars. "There's more to this than fear or caution," she said, her voice low. "The faction pushing sanctions, they're hiding something. I can feel it. We need to find out what it is before the council makes a final decision." Commander Rai frowned. "You think they're lying, but why? What could they possibly gain from punishing humans?" Dr. Tanaka, the team's lead scientist, adjusted her data glasses. "If humans appear dangerous or reckless, they could be restricted politically and technologically. Their colonies could be isolated. Someone could gain influence, resources, or control." "It's strategic," Elena nodded. "Exactly. And we need proof. She paused, glancing at the stars. We need to show the Council that the allegations against humanity are false and that there's a hidden agenda. The team began their investigation. They accessed secure channels, analyzed Council communications, and cross-checked the incident at Zorath Prime. Slowly, a pattern emerged. Certain data logs had been tampered with. Messages had been deleted, altered, or misrepresented. Someone had deliberately made humans appear reckless and dangerous. This isn't just misinterpretation, Dr. Tanaka said, her voice tinged with awe. This is manipulation. Someone wants the Council to mistrust humanity. Elena's eyes narrowed. Then we find out who. Over the next hours, the humans worked tirelessly. They traced digital fingerprints, followed communication trails, and analyzed voting patterns. Every lead brought more questions, but also clues. They discovered encrypted messages between the faction members advocating sanctions. The messages suggested that several colony systems were poorly managed, resulting in resource shortages and minor environmental collapses, and someone was trying to blame humans for these failures. Commander Rai shook his head. So they're using us as a scapegoat. But why? What's in it for them? Dr. Cortez studied the holographic map of the Council's influence zones. Control, influence, resources. If humans are seen as a threat, the faction can consolidate power, justify expansion, and silence any dissent. This is bigger than just Earth. The team's discovery gave them purpose. This was no longer only about defending humanity's reputation. It was about revealing the truth and preventing injustice. Elena decided it was time to act. We need concrete evidence, proof that humans were not responsible and that the faction manipulated the Council. Only then can we expose them. They focused on the colony of Zorath Prime. By analyzing raw sensor data, they discovered anomalies that had been intentionally left uncorrected to make the incident seem worse than it was. They also found communication logs proving that humans had acted responsibly, repaired systems, and assisted the local inhabitants. Dr. Tanaka's fingers flew across the holographic interface. Look at this. These reports were altered. Notice the timestamps. Someone backdated the warnings and exaggerated human responses. It's deliberate deception. Elena's heart raced. Perfect. This is exactly what we need. She turned to Rai. Now we need an ally inside the Council, someone who can help us present this evidence without interference. Rai nodded. I know someone. Ambassador Lyra of the Lisari. She's respected, neutral, and intelligent. If anyone can help us navigate Council politics, it's her. Elena contacted Ambassador Lyra through a secure channel. The Lisari diplomat agreed to meet discreetly. In a quiet chamber filled with the soft glow of starlight, Elena presented the findings. Lyra studied the holograms, her multifaceted eyes reflecting the data. This is significant, Lyra said slowly. If this is true, the faction has deliberately misled the Council. Humanity has been unfairly accused, Elena nodded. We need your help. We cannot present this evidence ourselves without being blocked. But if you support us, the Council will listen. Lyra considered for a moment, then inclined her head. I will stand with you. The truth must be revealed. Let us prepare our case carefully. Together, Elena, her team, and Ambassador Lyra began crafting a detailed report. They compiled the raw data from Zorath Prime, cross-referenced colony reports, and included technical evidence showing that humans acted with care and intelligence. The report also highlighted inconsistencies in the faction's claims, revealing deliberate tampering. As they worked, tension grew. Elena could sense that the faction pushing sanctions was monitoring communications more closely than before. Time was against them. They needed to act before the Council voted. Finally, after hours of preparation, the report was complete. Elena felt a mixture of exhaustion and determination. This is it, she said. This will show the Council who humans really are, and who has been lying. The next day, the Council reconvened. The chamber was tense. Delegates whispered in corners, some curious, others skeptical. Elena, Rai, Dr. Tanaka, and Ambassador Lyra took their seats near the front. Dr. Cortez stood. Esteemed Council members, she began, humanity has already presented evidence of our achievements, our ethics, and our cooperation. Today we present additional proof that the allegations against us have been manipulated. A holographic projection filled the chamber. It displayed the raw logs, timestamps, and anomalies from Zorath Prime. Every council member could see the evidence. The chamber was silent. Even the faction pushing sanctions could not ignore the clarity of the data. Elena continued. These manipulated reports were used to misrepresent our actions. Humans acted responsibly, ethically, and cooperatively. The faction advocating sanctions has used deception to sway opinion and gain influence. One of the skeptical delegates, a multi-limbed being with emerald-hued skin, asked, "And what evidence shows the manipulation was intentional?" Elena gestured to the timestamps, altered logs, and missing communications. Notice the inconsistencies? Alerts were delayed, logs were altered, and reports exaggerated. Only someone seeking to mislead could have orchestrated this. Humans were never at fault. Whispers spread across the chamber. Delegates exchanged looks, some astonished, some clearly disturbed. The weight of Elena's findings began to settle. The crystalline delegate, the leader of the faction pushing sanctions, stepped forward. Its voice echoed coldly. "Dr. Cortez, your evidence is impressive, but how can we be certain this is not fabricated?" Elena's gaze was steady. "You have access to the same raw data. Cross-check it. Analyze it. Humanity has no reason to fabricate this. Our colonies, our actions, and our principles are all transparent. This evidence is beyond dispute." For the first time, the chamber was truly still. Delegates leaned forward, their eyes, or equivalents, focused intently. Ambassador Lyra spoke up. "I have independently verified this evidence. The human claims are accurate. The faction has deliberately misled the council. Justice requires that we acknowledge the truth." Murmurs of agreement spread. Even some members of the skeptical faction seemed to hesitate, their rigid stance weakening under the weight of proof. Elena felt a surge of hope. Humanity was not just defending itself, it was exposing corruption, standing for truth, and demonstrating intelligence and moral courage in ways that no one could ignore. The session continued as council members debated. Elena listened carefully. Arguments against humanity, once loud and confident, were now faltering. One by one, council members questioned the integrity of the faction pushing sanctions. Evidence, logic, and moral clarity were slowly tipping the scales in humanity's favor. Hours passed. Elena and her team remained vigilant, ready to respond to any challenge. But the tide had turned. Humanity's voice, clear and undeniable, had made a difference. Finally, the chair of the council spoke. "Dr. Cortez, Ambassador Lyra, your presentation has been received. The council acknowledges that humans acted responsibly and that allegations were manipulated. This session will reconvene tomorrow to vote on appropriate actions. The evidence presented today will be considered carefully." Elena allowed herself a small smile. Today, they had uncovered the truth and revealed hidden agendas. But the battle was not yet over. The final vote would determine humanity's fate. As the humans returned to their quarters, Elena spoke quietly to her team. "We've done something remarkable. We have shown the council that humans are intelligent, ethical, and capable of uncovering truth. But tomorrow we must remain vigilant. Every council member will now know that humans are not to be underestimated." Rai nodded. "We're not just defending ourselves anymore. We're showing them what humans can do. Our courage, our intelligence, our ability to solve problems others cannot." Elena looked out at the stars, their cold light reflecting the endless possibilities. Humanity had faced deception, misjudgment, and prejudice, and survived. The council might still doubt, but now doubt would be based on truth, not fear. The grand chamber of Horizon 1 was alive with murmurs as delegates from hundreds of worlds gathered once more. The air shimmered with anticipation, and the vast crystalline walls reflected the countless lights from distant stars outside. Today was the day of the vote, the day that would decide humanity's future among the Interstellar Council. Dr. Elena Cortez walked down the central aisle, her team following closely. Ambassador Lyra of the Lissari was at her side, carrying the compiled evidence of manipulation and deception. The faction that had pushed for sanctions glared at them from their positions on the council dais, their crystalline forms gleaming ominously. Elena felt the weight of the moment but maintained her composure. She knew this was not only about presenting facts, it was about strategy, persuasion, and the demonstration of humanity's intelligence and moral courage. The council chair, a being whose translucent body reflected the stars, rumbled in a voice that resonated through the chamber. The council reconvenes to discuss the matter of Earth and humanity. Dr. Cortez, Ambassador Lyra, the floor is yours. Elena stepped forward, standing tall. Esteemed council members, she began, her voice steady and clear. Humanity stands not as a threat, but as a partner. A species capable of creativity, moral reasoning, and cooperation. The allegations against us were manipulated by a faction seeking power and influence, not by truth. Holographic projections filled the chamber, showing data from Zorath Prime, timestamps, and communication logs. Every delegate could see the evidence clearly. The chamber fell silent, the weight of truth pressing on every mind. Elena continued, "We ask not for blind trust, but for recognition of our actions. Humanity has demonstrated intelligence, responsibility, and the ability to solve problems that others might overlook. We are ready to cooperate, learn, and contribute positively to the Council and the galaxy." The crystalline delegate representing the faction that had pushed sanctions rose, its voice cold and resonant. "Dr. Cortez, your evidence is detailed, but one incident does not define an entire species. How can we trust humans across all situations? How can we guarantee safety?" Elena's eyes narrowed, but her voice remained calm. "It is not one incident, esteemed delegate. It is the totality of our actions, our colonies, our projects, our ethical decisions, and our willingness to cooperate. Intelligence is not merely the ability to act. It is the ability to understand consequences, adapt, and act responsibly. Humans have proven this repeatedly." A murmur spread across the chamber. Elena noticed some delegates whispering among themselves, clearly impressed by her clarity. Ambassador Lyra stepped forward. "Esteemed members, I have independently verified the evidence presented. Humans acted responsibly in every documented scenario. Attempts to misrepresent their actions have been deliberate. Justice, logic, and fairness demand that we recognize the truth. Humans are not to be punished for the deceit of others." The council chamber grew tense. Whispers, murmurs, and gestures filled the air. Elena knew she had to appeal not just to logic but to morality, cooperation, and inspiration. She raised her hand, calling for silence. "Council members," she said, "we all value stability, progress, and cooperation. But consider this: punishing a species for false allegations does not serve the Council. It weakens alliances, discourages transparency, and undermines justice. Humanity stands before you, not only to defend itself but to offer collaboration, creativity, and solutions for challenges we all face." The room was silent again. Elena could feel the collective focus of the Council, every mind evaluating, questioning, and considering. She continued, "We do not seek dominance. We do not seek conflict. We seek understanding, contribution, and partnership. Humanity's intelligence is measured not by its speed of expansion, but by its ability to reason, to adapt, and to solve problems. And today we have demonstrated these qualities to you." One of the smaller delegates, shaped like a floating orb with flickering lights, spoke softly. "I have observed humans closely. They act with intelligence, empathy, and perseverance. I support their inclusion and trustworthiness." Elena felt a spark of hope. One voice could influence others, and small species often held significant moral sway within the Council. The debate continued, with Council members weighing evidence, reasoning, and personal observations. The faction that had pushed sanctions argued, but their arguments were weaker now. Facts were against them, logic was against them, and the Council members could see the deliberate manipulation clearly. Elena decided it was time to emphasize humanity's potential contribution. She gestured to the holographic projections once more, showing advanced human technologies, interstellar communication networks, environmental restoration systems, and medical innovations capable of assisting multiple species. "These are not just inventions," she said. "They are tools for collaboration, progress, and peace. Humanity offers more than survival or expansion. We offer solutions that benefit all species. Imagine what we can achieve together if the Council recognizes our value instead of condemning us unfairly." A wave of murmurs swept through the chamber. Some Council members nodded, visibly impressed. Even a few of the faction's delegates hesitated, realizing that their stance might be seen as unjust. Elena paused, letting her words sink in. Then, she spoke softly but firmly. "Humanity has faced countless challenges on Earth. Natural disasters, conflicts, scarcity. We have survived and thrived through intelligence, cooperation, and moral courage. We are ready to face challenges across the galaxy with the same principles. Do not judge us by fear or misunderstanding. Judge us by our actions and our potential. For a long moment, the chamber was silent. The chair of the council regarded Elena with an unreadable expression. Then slowly, delegates began to voice their opinions. One by one, they acknowledged the clarity, fairness, and ingenuity of humanity. Many spoke of their admiration for humans' ability to solve complex problems and act ethically. The crystalline delegate rose again, but this time its voice was less forceful. While I remain cautious, the evidence and arguments presented by Dr. Cortez are compelling. The allegations against humanity are now in doubt. The council must consider this carefully. Elena nodded internally. Progress had been made. Reason, evidence, and morality were prevailing over fear and prejudice. Ambassador Lyra added, "Justice is not achieved by silence or inaction. The council must act on truth, not manipulation. Humanity has proven its integrity and its ability to contribute positively to interstellar society." As the final moments of the debate approached, Elena summarized humanity's position. Council members, humans are not perfect, but no species is. What defines a species is its willingness to learn, to adapt, and to act responsibly. We ask not for leniency, but for recognition and trust. Let humanity's actions today guide your decision, not fear or deception. The chamber grew quiet, each delegate contemplating the words, the evidence, and the implications. Elena felt the tension in the room, the weight of countless eyes and minds. And then slowly the chair spoke. The council has heard the arguments, seen the evidence, and considered the implications. The manipulations against humanity have been exposed. It is clear that humans acted responsibly, ethically, and with intelligence. This council recognizes the truth. Elena's heart leapt. The tide had turned. Humanity's voice had been heard, its intelligence and moral clarity respected. The chair continued, "Sanctions against humanity are hereby revoked. Furthermore, the council invites humans to participate in a new interstellar initiative focused on exploration, cooperation, and education. Humanity's potential contributions will be welcomed and supported." A wave of relief and joy swept through Elena's team. Commander Rai smiled broadly. Dr. Tanaka's eyes sparkled, and Ambassador Lyra nodded with quiet pride. Elena allowed herself a deep breath. Humanity had not only defended itself, they had demonstrated their intelligence, morality, and capacity for collaboration. They had turned suspicion into admiration, fear into respect, and doubt into recognition. As the council session concluded, delegates approached to speak with Elena, praising her courage, clarity, and vision. Some offered collaboration and friendship. Even a few from the faction that had pushed sanctions came forward, acknowledging their errors and expressing willingness to cooperate in the future. Elena walked out of the chamber into the observation deck. The stars outside seemed brighter than ever, each one a symbol of the opportunities awaiting humanity. She looked at her team and smiled. "We did it," she said softly. "Not with force, not with threats, but with intelligence, truth, and courage." Rai laughed. "We showed them what humans are capable of, didn't we?" Elena nodded. "Yes, and this is only the beginning. Humanity now has a voice, a presence, and a responsibility in the galaxy. We must continue to act wisely, solve problems, and inspire trust. The stars are ours to explore, not just to inhabit, but to illuminate with intelligence and cooperation." As the team gazed out at the endless expanse, a sense of pride and purpose filled the chamber. Humanity had proven itself among the stars, not as a threat but as a partner, innovator, and beacon of hope. The council had been challenged, and humanity had risen to the occasion. Through patience, clarity, and unwavering moral courage, Dr. Elena Cortez and her team had ensured that humans would no longer be. The grand chamber of Horizon 1 was quiet now, filled with the soft hum of energy fields and the distant twinkle of stars. The council's vote had been passed, sanctions against humanity revoked, and the door to interstellar collaboration had been thrown wide open. But for Dr. Elena Cortez, this was not the end. It was only the beginning. Elena stood on the observation deck, gazing out at the stars that stretched endlessly into the blackness of space. Each point of light represented worlds waiting to be explored, challenges to be faced, and opportunities to build bridges across species. Humanity's moment had come, and she could feel it pulsing through the very air. Beside her, Commander Rai grinned. "We actually did it," he said. "Humans, finally respected in the Council." Elena allowed herself a small smile. "Yes, but respect is only the start. We now have responsibilities. We have to show that humanity deserves its place among the stars, not just in words, but in action." The team's next mission was already being planned. Humanity would lead an interstellar initiative, a collaborative effort to explore distant systems, share knowledge, and offer aid where it was needed. For centuries, humans had dreamed of reaching the stars, not for conquest, but for learning, cooperation, and discovery. Now the dream was no longer distant. It was reality. Ambassador Lyra of the Lissari approached, her multifaceted eyes reflecting the starlight. "Dr. Cortez, humanity has proven itself in the Council, but you must lead your team wisely. The galaxy watches. Every decision you make will set an example for others." Elena nodded. "We will. Humanity will act with intelligence, ethics, and curiosity. We will earn our place through deeds, not words alone." The preparation for the initiative was swift. Human engineers, scientists, and diplomats worked tirelessly, designing ships capable of long-range exploration, sustainable energy modules, and communication networks that could connect multiple species across light years. Rai oversaw the construction of the first exploratory fleet, sleek vessels equipped for speed, research, and sustainability. Each ship carried advanced medical systems, environmental repair units, and collaboration hubs where alien and human scientists could work side by side. Meanwhile, Dr. Cortez focused on diplomacy, establishing connections with other species and sharing humanity's vision. "We are not here to dominate," she explained during meetings. "We are here to learn, to cooperate, and to help. The galaxy belongs to no single species. Together, we can make it better." News of humanity's initiative spread throughout the Council and beyond. Many species, previously skeptical, offered their support. Researchers volunteered to collaborate with human teams, sharing data and expertise. Colonies that had once looked upon humans with suspicion now saw them as leaders, innovators, and partners. The day of departure arrived. The fleet of human exploratory vessels gleamed under the lights of Horizon 1. Delegates from various worlds gathered to witness the historic moment. Elena stood at the forefront, Commander Rai at her side, Dr. Tanaka managing the scientific teams, and Ambassador Lyra representing interstellar allies. Elena addressed the crowd. "Today humanity steps into the galaxy not as conquerors, not as threats, but as partners. We bring intelligence, creativity, and cooperation. We will learn from every world, share knowledge freely, and work with every species to explore the unknown. The stars are vast, and together we can make them a place of understanding, progress, and hope." A round of applause filled the chamber. It was not just the humans who clapped. Delegates from dozens of worlds joined in, acknowledging that humanity had earned its place. As the fleet launched, sleek vessels gliding smoothly through the station's gravity fields, Elena and her team watched in awe. The stars seemed closer, almost within reach. The vessels accelerated, disappearing into the void, carrying humanity's hopes, ambitions, and values to distant worlds. Weeks passed as the fleet began its initial explorations. Humans worked alongside alien species to study planets, repair damaged ecosystems, and share knowledge of energy systems, medicine, and technology. Every mission was a demonstration of human ingenuity and ethical reasoning. On the colony of Noreth, humans helped stabilize a planet's failing atmosphere. Engineers designed adaptive weather systems that replenished oxygen, while human scientists collaborated with alien researchers to create sustainable habitats. The colonists watched in awe as humans and aliens worked together seamlessly, a living proof that cooperation and intelligence could overcome even the most difficult challenges. Meanwhile, on the planet of Eldara, human diplomats mediated a dispute between two alien communities over resource sharing. Instead of force, they used reasoning, logic, and empathy to find a solution that satisfied both parties. The Eldarans, once suspicious of outsiders, now respected humans for their fairness and insight. Back on Horizon 1, reports flowed in. Humanity's reputation had transformed completely. The Council now saw humans not as unpredictable or dangerous, but as leaders in cooperation, problem-solving, and ethical exploration. Elena walked through the observation deck, looking at the stars that had once seemed so distant. Commander Rye joined her. "You know," he said, "I think they're finally starting to see what we always knew. Humans aren't just survivors, we're creators, innovators, and partners." Elena smiled. "Yes, Rye. And it's not just about what we can do, it's about how we do it. Our intelligence, our ethics, our courage, that's what sets us apart. That's what earned us a place in the Council and a chance to explore the stars." As months turned into years, humanity's presence spread. They established research stations, helped restore damaged worlds, and created interstellar educational programs where species could learn from one another. Humans shared technology responsibly, offered aid when needed, and solved problems that others thought impossible. The Council frequently consulted with human leaders. Humanity became known not just for its achievements, but for its integrity, ingenuity, and moral courage. Other species looked to humans as examples of intelligence guided by ethics, creativity tempered by responsibility. One evening, as Elena stood on the observation deck of a human research station orbiting a distant star, she reflected on the journey. From the moment the Council had considered sanctions, through the discovery of manipulation, the Great Debate, and the launch of the Interstellar Initiative, humanity had proved itself. She gazed at the stars, imagining the countless worlds humanity had yet to reach, the challenges yet to face, and the discoveries waiting to be made. The galaxy was vast, but humans had already shown they could rise to any challenge with intelligence, courage, and cooperation. Rye approached, carrying a tablet filled with reports from recent missions. "Look at this," he said. "Our teams are making a real difference. Planets restored, conflicts resolved, knowledge shared. The galaxy is noticing humanity, not as a threat, but as a force for progress." Elena nodded. "Yes, Rye, and it's only the beginning. Humanity's story is just starting to be written across the stars. We've shown what we can do when intelligence, ethics, and courage guide our actions." Later, in a council meeting streamed across multiple worlds, Elena addressed the assembly. "Esteemed delegates, humans have learned that the galaxy is not only about survival, but about responsibility, cooperation, and progress. Our actions will always reflect our intelligence, our values, and our respect for life. We hope to continue collaborating with all species, learning from each other, and building a brighter future for the galaxy." The council erupted in applause, not just for her words, but for humanity's achievements. Humans had faced fear, prejudice, and misunderstanding, and they had overcome it all through ingenuity, morality, and perseverance. Elena smiled, feeling the weight of history and the promise of the future. Humanity had claimed its place among the stars, not through force, not through dominance, but through intelligence, creativity, and the courage to act rightly. The stars outside shone brighter than ever, and humanity's journey across the galaxy had only begun. With every mission, every collaboration, and every act of ingenuity, humans proved that they were worthy of trust, respect, and a lasting place in the interstellar community.